A very good afternoon to our principal, Ms. Sujata Saranan, my colleague, Ms. Deepa Sanjeev, and all our lovable and dear parents of class 1 and 2. On behalf of San Academy Palikarni, I welcome you all to this wonderful session of positive parenting. Most of us strive to be great parents. We may also find ourselves very confused by the seemingly endless challenge of parenthood. Positive parenting is a continual relationship of a parent and a child or children that includes caring, teaching, leading, communicating, and providing for the needs of a child consistently and unconditionally. Positive parenting is nurturing, empowering, and provides recognition and guidance, which involves setting of boundaries to enable the full development of the child. The objective of positive parenting is to teach discipline in a way that builds a child's self esteem and supports a mutually respectful parent child relationship without breaking the child's spirit. It involves guiding, leading, teaching, caring, empowering. It is sensitive to a child's needs. It should be consistent. It always involves non-violence. It involves affection, emotional security, unconditional love, a positive attitude, and whatnot. So we all should be set to follow this kind of positive parenting. So let us look at a few parenting styles and how parenting can be effective for different children under different situations. I request my colleague Ms. Deepa Ganesh to take over.
Thank you, Ms. Deepa. A very good evening to one and all. I really appreciate this thoughtful idea of connecting with all the wonderful parents of our lovable Sanites via management. Thanks, Ms. Archana, our beloved managing director, and Ms. Sujata, our admirable principal, for creating this platform and help us stay connected during these testing times. Today, we are going to explore briefly as to how to be happy parents and raise happy children. Children are supposed to bring happiness and joy. But unfortunately, the reality in many households today is that they bring in a lot of stress. So instead of being a bundle of joy, some of us end up being stressed out as we are not really able to cope up with today's demands of parenting. So, on these lines, we will discuss a few topics as to how parenting becomes really helpful. Mani ma'am, can you share the screen? Yeah. Today we would discuss a few topics on happiness and how being self-aware and mindful actually help us uh, being a effective parent, and also the importance of emotional intelligence and the role it plays in uh, again nurturing and grooming our children. We will also explore the different types of parenting styles and the effect of these parenting styles on our children. Okay, so how many of you want your children to be happy? I think unanimously, all of us would want our children to be happy, right? Okay, so what do you think happiness is all about? So, do we think that every minute should we be making our children happy? Is it even possible? Or how stressful is this going to be for parents for making children happy throughout? Okay, so yeah, here I would like to give more clarity on happiness, and I would also uh, want to talk more about the material happiness versus the permanent happiness. Okay, so providing happiness for the children. Uh, Normally, what parents do is that we buy lot of toys for our children. We try to create situations wherein the children are happy. So what happens is making them or keeping them always happy becomes the duty of the parent, which is very demanding and very stressful. So, material happiness is generally providing happiness from outside. It is not creating happiness from within. So, I think more than providing happiness, which is very stressful for parents, creating happiness from within, that is teaching the children to be happy, so that they are happy from within, is always a lot helpful. Okay, so when we move on with happiness has something which is created from within, we talk about happiness as a byproduct of accomplishment. So when we accomplish or achieve something in life, the happiness is like it's from within. So we feel so happy from within, and also that. Uh, just a moment. Sorry about it. Okay, so when we accomplish something in life, the happiness is from within, so it is innate. So from within we feel the happiness, the joy. I don't think any of us would have forgotten the moment wherein our uh, results of or for the time when we had cleared our first interview, or when we have achieved something in our life. So that is the kind of happiness I'm talking about, which actually leads to more positive emotions in us. I think as parents we have to help children in figuring out their passion. So when we do something with full involvement and engagement, that is where we are able to feel this happiness. So, this happiness is felt when we feel that flow or the engagement. We have to really uh, teach them, figure out what they are good at and what they enjoy doing, so that they are able to manifest happiness from within. It is not that we always have to provide them something to make them happy. This happiness comes from within when they really learn to accomplish or do something on their own. So this is where nurturing and grooming plays a very important role. And as the famous psychologist Lev Vygotsky says, children who has able guidance, they do fairly very well. They are being given or shown the way as to how to lead their life. So again, when teaching children as to how to lead their life in an effective manner, we have to be flexible. At the same time, we have to give them a structure. Okay, so this is where self awareness plays a very important role. We have to be really aware about what we are doing. So when we are grounded and when we are aware about what we are doing, we will definitely be in a position and we will be able to guide our children to find out or figure out what they are interested, and it will be very easy for them to figure out their passion. Another very important aspect in uh, being a successful parent is being emotionally intelligent. Okay, in actually emotional intelligence is a very vast topic, but when come to parenting, I think we will just deal with a few aspects of the emotional intelligence, wherein we see children with a lot of regulation issues. We call it children who are very impulsive, who are not able to self regulate themselves. That happens only when the child is very emotional and there is no connect between the rational thinking part and the emotions. Here, I would like to show a brain model of Mr. Siegel. He's a very eminent psychologist, wherein this is our hand model of a brain. This is the midbrain, and this is the limbic system. This is where all the emotional activities happen. And this is the cortex. So, when the thinking part is connecting with the emotional part, we make rational decisions and we are emotionally intelligent. But what happens is when the thinking part is not connected with the emotional intelligence, emotional part rather, when the emotions play a predominant role, it actually opens up the flap. There is no connect between the cortex or the thinking part of the brain and the emotions. So this is where actually uh, all misbehaviors and children throwing tantrums, and they are very impulsive. They are able to not control their behaviors in public places. I mean, all those issues happen only when they are only emotional and when they are not connected with the cortex or the rational part of the brain. So when children are not, it's and self regulation is not something very easy. It is a learned skill, but it takes a lot of time for children to learn the skill of self regulation. And also a lot of time self regulation is being confused with self control. So actually self control is something which has to be followed when something has gone wrong, or when the cause has led to a bad effect or something. So that's where we try to control our impulses. But regulation is something which prevents something bad even happening, and it actually helps us having much more better self control. And when our emotions and our behaviors are regulated, it is much easier for us to stay more focused and grounded. So a few tips wherein we can build the self regulation of children. We have to give each child their own space basically. So each child learns how to regulate their emotions and behavior in their own pace. So we have to be extremely patient, and when the children are throwing tantrums or when they are impulsive, I think as parents, we have to stay grounded. We have to have this connect between the cortex and our emotions, wherein we have to use our thinking part also, and we have to stay grounded, and we really have to be very aware and patient with them. So we have to give them the space. So when they are throwing the tantrums or when they are yelling and shouting, if we are going to react in the same manner, if we are going to be really angry and reactive, it is not really going to help us. There, I think we have to be really grounded, and we have to have our cool. We have to stay mindful, and we have to interact with them in a very nice, warm, and responsive manner, so that we help them to really regulate their emotions and behavior. Also, we have to give a lot of space for our children to express their emotions, because emotions, when it is bottled up or when it's not expressed, what happens, it leads to very poor self control or no self control at all. These are the children who are unable to even express their emotions, and they bottle up their emotions, and finally it they just open it up in a big way. So I think we have to be very supportive and warm, and also accommodating when children are, uh, you know, uh, throwing tantrums or when they are behaving in a rough way. We have to give them that space to express their emotion, and we have to stay very calm and grounded and help them in coming out of those situations. So actually, free play, that is giving them some time to play freely and express their uh, emotions and all their physical energy. It actually helps them to regulate their emotions. If we give them a lot of free play, what happens, they get bored. Then that is again, that becomes an issue. So we have to also give them structured activities, like productive activities, like what, it actually helps them to be more creative, and also find out what they are interested in. Like we can ask them to color, or we can ask them to play with lego toys and actually build something. It all these structured activities and free play actually helps them to develop into emotionally intelligent beings. Okay, now we will just move on with the parenting styles. Even before moving to the parenting style, I just want to discuss about a small debate that's been there for over several years among psychologists. It was always like people wanted to find out whether the nature plays an important role in a child's life, or is it the nurturing. So is it the genetic blueprint, or is the environment? So which has more influence on the children? I think in the olden days, parenting was like never looked into a very serious topic. People thought children will just grow on their own. I mean, they will develop into adults and no need to really nurture or groom them. That was the idea. But then, as science grew and also as we developed, and there were a lot of research in this field, and it has been proven by many researchers and many psychologists that there is an equal role of genetics and the environment in the development of a children. So parenting matters. Parenting definitely matters. The influence of parents, teachers, and the guardians have a very good impact on the growth and development of our children. So, what is parenting? Parenting is the environment in which we interact with our children. Okay, so what kind of interaction that happens between parents and the children? How the two main dimensions here is the demandingness and the responsiveness. So, how much demanding are we as parents? What do we expect our children to do? How much of achievement are we expecting from them? So what is our expectations as parents towards our children is the demandingness, and the responsiveness is nothing but responding to the children's demands. So as children, how much of warmth and guidance are they expecting from us? So there has to be a balance between the demandingness and the responsiveness. So this is the fundamental way wherein the parenting styles have been created. This again has been created by Diana Borman. She again is a very famous clinical psychologist and also a developmental psychologist. Here, we will also have to look into the communication styles. That is, how the parents interact with their children. Are they very passive? Is the communication from the parents' end? Is it passive? In the sense that parents are submissive and children dominate. Okay, that is a passive style wherein the parents are very easygoing and they are very subdued. There is also another style called the authoritative style, wherein or more than authoritative, I would say, is more of aggression. So, passive is something wherein the parents are subdued, and aggressive is somewhere where the parents are very dominating and they don't give enough room for the child to express their feelings. And again, there is one very effective communication style, uh, which in wherein there is a meet between the aggressive and the passive style. This is the assertive communication styles, wherein the rules and the boundaries are set clearly. At the same time, the parents are also very responsive. That is, neither the child is hurt nor the parent is hurt. Both of them meet at a point. So, this is a very collaborative style, wherein the assertive communication style really conveys what the parent really wants to tell the children, and where the children actually listen to their parents and they also contribute something towards their needs, and the parents also listen and they give it to their children. So these are the four different parenting styles that we are going to see in detail. The first style is the authoritative style. Here, as the name suggests, here in this parenting style, the parents are very warm and responsive, and also they set very clear rules, and also they set very decent and high achievable expectations for the children. They are very supportive with the children. When there is a need, the parents always pitch in and they help out the children at the time of need, and they also teach the children the value of independence. Okay, so this is this style is very what do I say, it's very balanced style, wherein the parents are warm and responsive, and they are always there at the time of need for the children, and they are ready to spend quality time with the children, and they set very clear rules with clear expectations, and also they are very responsive in the sense they are ready to involve the children when there are rules. There is also flexibility, and they empower the children, they teach them how to be independent. Instead of spending all the time with them, they spend quality time with the children, and they are very supportive. Yes, Deepa Sanjeev, would you like to give
Yeah.
some examples?
Yeah, so as my friend discussed here, this style of parenting, I would say, is something which is a traditional way of parenting. We have been seeing this style from the very beginning, where it has balanced rules, and it has strict rules, but it's also flexible. So we can see the way our parents, had this style of parenting with us, or grandparents had with our parents. But nowadays, it's changing. Like, this style is we are not seeing it everywhere. So here it's like, parents are responsive to the children's feelings and needs, but it's not always. Like, the parents are there to hear whatever the children want to talk or discuss. But there is a kind of style in this parenting which usually was called as Hitler rule. Parents do dictate terms in this, but they do accept what the children say. They are flexible. They may set rules, but they are also ready to listen to the children, because it's not that they are very authoritarian style. They do listen to children, and children do have kind of an I would say, outlet to talk with the parents and discuss whatever they have to discuss, where they can express their opinions, they can express their views, and it's accepted. It's not that the parents do it only the way they want to do it, but it is accepted. So if a child wants to buy something, child wants to the child looks at some friend and say, okay, he has a toy, I want that toy also. The parents would decide actually whether it's really required, and if it's required, yes, they take a decision whether to buy it or not. So it is like a kind of a, I would say, blend of acceptance, and it's a blend of different kinds of parenting here. So this is something which we have seen for so many years, with our own parents, as I said, our own grandparents. So this is a very good style of parenting, but it would also depend on the different situations that we are into now, because it's not the same everywhere. So it would depend upon what situation we are into, what kind of family we are into, whether we are into a joint family or a nuclear family, and how our children's behavior is. So it would depend on so many factors to decide for us whether we should accept this style of parenting. But yes, here there's a lot of option of, openness, acceptance. So the style is like quite accepted. But as I said, it's changing now. We cannot see this style of parenting everywhere in the current situation. Yes,
Yeah, Deepa,
DJ.
thank you so much. Yeah, Deepa. Yeah, it's a collaborative parenting style, basically. Okay, it's very collaborative between the parent and the children. Parents are good listeners, and also parents are very good guides. So they play the role of very good listeners. At the same time, they also take a lot of responsibility, and they are supportive, and they really help the children. They groom them, they nurture them. At the same time, they set clear rules. Okay, and the communication style which these authoritative parents use is always a very assertive style. Okay, so it
Positive.
is like,
Yes.
yeah, okay, thank you so much. Yeah. So the associated outcomes of this parenting style is normally real high academic performance. Children perform very well in their academics, and because they have a lot of self esteem, and the self concept is really high, because there is somebody always who would listen to them, and somebody who would support them, who would be there with them at the time of need. So the children feel heard. So when the children feel heard and accepted and also groomed, so if there is some mistake which is being made by the parents, I'm sorry, by the children, they are not really punished, they are only corrected, and it just moves on. So the children have a lot of self esteem, and they are not afraid to make mistakes, because they know they can learn from their mistakes. They don't repeat mistakes, but at the same time, They are not really afraid to make mistakes because they know there is somebody to correct them, and they are also willing. They have that openness to correct themselves and change themselves. So they behave in a real nice way in the society. So they know, they develop the social skills. They know how to interact with people because they interact with their parents. So, and also these children are very confident because of their high self esteem and high self concept. They're very confident, and very less mental illness and very less delinquency rates in these type of parenting. We will move on to the permissive parenting style. This permissive parenting style is wherein the parent is over indulgent. I mean, they spend a lot of time, a way too much extra time in parenting a child. But again, the time for each child varies. We cannot say there is a lot of time spent by some parents or less time spent. We cannot be judgmental to that. But in this style, kind of the problem is, the parents do not set very clear rules. Okay, and they are very indulgent and over responsive. So what happens when the parent is over responsive and there are no rules? The children are kind of lost. They think they can do whatever and they can get away with it. So that kind of an idea is passed on. So the communication style the parent uses here is a passive style. The parents are very passive, and the children, they try to dominate. So when there are no set rules, clear rules and clear structure, what happens? The children become very impulsive. So this is where the children are unable to behave, and they have those kind of things. um, the parents are also very lenient. Deepa, would you like to add on something to this?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Here, the parents would they would love to support and motivate their children come any situation. Like they would have this yes boss kind of a attitude towards their children. They'll be very lenient with the kids. For example, if a child says, when you have a child in first or second standard, the child would be demanding something every day. Okay, so here the parents may not have strict rules where to say no, you have this, you better play with this. I'll get you something later on. No, that would not be the case. Here the parents will like, okay, he's asking, let me keep him happy, let me see to it that he's not upset or she's not upset. So they don't think twice, before doing it, and they end up buying so many things for the child that the child would not understand the value of things in few situations. So it would be, and it also makes them difficult to listen to a big no. They actually become a bit adamant, and they won't understand, or they won't learn to adjust to situations, because whatever they have asked for, even before asking, if that is done, then they are used to a kind of kind of lifestyle where they find it very difficult to adjust later on. So this is a kind of a parenting, I would say. It's good, but as there are no set rules, as there are no limitations, parents are indulgent, they're very lenient, so you have the other side of it also.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you, Deepa. Yeah, so the children are really pampered. So, without rules, when you pamper children, children are children. They do not know. They really need some kind of a guidance. So, when that is missing, when there are no set rules and that structure is missing, they are very impulsive, and also they are very egocentric. They think they are always right because that's what they have learned in this parenting style. Because whatever they do, they get away with it. And also they develop very poor social skills because in their interaction they always want to dominate, because they are used to dominating even their parents. So they think they can dominate anybody. So they are learning a few uh, wrong ideas. They are getting wrong ideas because they are over pampered or over nurtured. And this shows in problematic relationship, the relationship management skills, both the intrapersonal relationship management and the interpersonal relationship management. It takes a big hit in this parenting style. So when you really indulge too much, overindulgence, it also backfires. I'm just moving to the third style of authoritarian parenting. Okay, so this authoritarian parenting, kindly don't mistake it with the authoritative parenting style. Though the names are kind of similar, but then there is a huge difference. In authoritative parenting style, there was a lot of balance, but in this particular style, in authoritarian parenting style, what happens is there is only a monologue or only a one way communication that is happening. The parents are very, very strict and they set rules. They set real high expectation. They are very, very demanding. They are very demanding, but at the same time, they are not at all responsive. So, what happens? The demanding and responsive, when there is no balance, when the demandingness is more and there is no responsiveness, the child is kind of withdrawn. Yeah, the child lacks that self-esteem or self-confidence. They are always being made to be obedient. Okay, so high expectations, and it is only one-sided communication. The parents only give them rules, and they ask the children to do whatever they want them to do. I think I will give one classic example for this authoritarian style. I think most of you would have seen the movie Nanban or Three Idiots. So in thus there is in this particular movie that there are kind of two parents who are in this style, authoritarian style. One is the antagonist, the virus, or the college principal himself, who will want to force his ideas into his child, into his son. So again, there is one more character in the same movie wherein the child would actually want to have become a wildlife photographer, but unfortunately the parent wanted him to be an engineer, and he will make sure that the son gets into the engineering college rather than pursuing his interest. So the children's interest uh, is always overseen or foreseen, and the parent is always, they take the charge rather. So they say whatever they say is right, and they don't really listen to the children. So that warmth or that responsiveness is lacking in this time. Yes, Deepa.
Yeah. Even I feel like, this kind of parenting, like parents are very unresponsive to children's feelings and needs. And from parent side, it's a complete no for everything. And as you said, as you rightly gave the example of the movie, there are many parents who would decide what I have not done, I'll see to it that my child does. So as soon as the child is born, you're going to become a doctor. You're going to become this. You're going to become that. So it's like, the parents have a say in everything. So what
Yeah.
happens when you have a say in everything? The child will not even know to express its own feelings, or express. They cannot even exhibit their talent openly. Oh, what will my parents think if I do this? Because that would have been the system in the house. That would have been the environment in the house. So here, like they are not given an opportunity to express their feelings, their views, their opinions. There's always a one-way communication. So a child is always lost, or a child is always demotivated, and they get very depressed in such kind of parenting. Children should have some kind of outlet where they should express themselves, where they should talk openly to parents, so then the relationship built is strong. Otherwise it would be difficult, and the parents show deaf ear to a child's needs, wherein the child will never have an opportunity to express. So even if a child say in first or second grade would like to say something, would like to express something, but he or she will hold back, thinking that okay, whatever I'm going to say, my father or mother will say no. So give them that kind of an open environment. I mean, kind of an openness or responsiveness, where they come back and talk to you. They express themselves. That
Yeah,
is very
thanks.
important.
Yeah, yeah, as you said, yeah, there is no free will. So the children are,
Exactly.
I mean, they are totally prohibited from expressing themselves.
It's
So
like a
that
restricted
is
environment. So
absolutely. So that is where that awareness has to be there when we are parenting our children. So what kind of parents are we? I mean, like there is no right or wrong. We can never judge parents. Nothing is right or nothing is wrong. Only with awareness, only with knowing. Actually, these authoritarian parenting, they think they are doing the best for their children. They go out of the way. It is they take a lot of stress.
on
It's
themselves.
unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunate that they are hurting themselves and they are also hurting their children. It's like that awareness is lacking here. So actually,
Yeah.
all the parenting styles, in all the parenting styles, actually the parents want to do the best for their children. But what happens is sometimes this lack of awareness as to how we are dealing with the children, leads to a lot of backfiring and misleading the children. That happens, and children being children, they take the advantage because they are children, and they
Right.
really learn from us. So I think as parents we have to be really aware. Even in authoritarian parenting type also, actually the parents want to do the best, they want to give their best to their children, but unfortunately it does not reach the children in the right way. What happens here, the associated outcomes are the children do not have self esteem at all because they were never given a chance to express themselves. So the self esteem goes for a toss, and also their self concept is very low because they are always trying to please their parents. They are trying to please their parents against their own will. So if they want to do something else, they suppress that. Instead, they do it for the sake of their parents. So what happens in that way? Neither the parents are happy nor the children are happy. So that is not a very favorable condition for either of them, and this also leads to lower academic performance because the children, they don't really know how to express themselves, and also they don't express in the right way. I mean, because they suppress their feelings most of the time, and they are not given room for expression. So they lack self confidence. When there is no self confidence, the self esteem goes down, and the self concept goes down. So it's a kind of a cycle again. And also, they have poorer social skills. Again, because of lack of confidence, they are not very confident communicating and building that relationships. All these things goes for a toss. We will just move on with the final parenting type, which is neglectful parenting. In this parenting type, what happens actually is the parents themselves are in, they have a lot of problems, and they are preoccupied with themselves. They have a lot of issues, and they are more uh, involved or engrossed in fighting with their issues and sorting out their issues, that they are not able to concentrate or spend more time with their children. So what happens is neither do they demand anything from the children, nor are they very responsive to the needs of the children. So there are no rules, and also there are they don't expect anything from the children. I mean, like, it is both are really down. So what happens in this kind of parenting is the parents are really uninvolved, and they are very indifferent towards the needs of the children. The parents are preoccupied with their own issues, and they don't spend quality time, the time which is needed, and they are not very supportive. It is not that they do it intentionally. It sometimes becomes unavoidable when the parents themselves are engrossed or so much involved in problems. They don't find time for their children, so they are neglectful, they just neglect their children. Yeah, Deepa.
Yeah, so even in this style of parenting, I mean, I think that children may find themselves lonely because, you know, children would love to come and spend some time with the parents. And the parents, of course, as you said, they don't do it intentionally, but they are so busy with their work, or they are so occupied with their work. Like, for example, the child would love to come and show something that he or she would have drawn, or he or she would have done. That's a kind of achievement for the child at that age. And when they come forward to say, Mama, I've got this, or Papa, I've got this, and you're like, ah, yeah, okay, yeah, go. So it's like we are just seeing it, but you're not appreciating, you're not commenting on it, and the child expects some appreciation at that point. We are human beings, even at this stage we expect appreciation, because that's a motivation for us, right? Any kind of appreciation, constructive appreciation, is always motivational. So when a child expects that at that particular moment, and if the parent is not able to give that kind of an appreciation, or even just a look and say, wow, it's good, great, now you can go, that is fine. But just looking at them and, okay, we have done this several times, of course unintentionally, but we should be very particular about it, because in any case we don't spend quality time with them. But whatever time we get to spend with them, that time should be used properly. Because when a child wants to express something, when the child wants to say something, we should accept it, and we should motivate the child. And when we don't do that because of our maybe work schedule or because of whatever preoccupation we have, a child really loses focus, and the child also loses interest in talking to us. Because the child will, when you're doing this with a child, the child will listen to you once, twice, or thrice. Later on, he will stop coming to you. Anyways, if I go, mama is not going to look at me. She's not going to say good. She's not going to say anything. So then the child will stop coming to you. So that will again hamper the relationship.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so that is the parents are present, but then that involvement is lacking.
Not
Okay,
there.
so that
Yes.
is time spent. The quality time spent is lacking. They are present, they are there, but then not at the time of need, or again that involvement and that kind of a connect is lacking between the parent and the child. So again, the associated outcomes of this is the children are very impulsive. Why impulsive? Because actually they want to be heard, they want attention. Children naturally, yes, they seek attention, but unfortunately they don't get this attention. So what happens again? Why are they impulsive? Again, that's again, this is all leading to your self regulation. If you remember initially when we started talking about self regulation, the impulsive behavior is a hindrance mainly. So why do they behave impulsively? Why are they not able to regulate their emotions and their behaviors? Because there is no guidance, there's no set rules, they don't know what to do, so they have to figure it out. When they figure it out on their own without any able guidance, it takes a lot of time, and it's also not that easy. So that is where the neglectful parenting style is like hurts, when it does not really give any set rules and guidance, and not being very supportive with the children. So again, this leads to a lot of complications in the child later in their life. Okay. So now, after seeing all these parenting styles, I think we definitely would have understood that the authoritative style, wherein there is this responsiveness and demandingness, when there is a balance, and also when we have an open mindset and when we are flexible to accept our children and are ready to spend quality time with the children, the parenting style becomes very effective. But every time we can't be a authoritative parent. There are times when we are permissive, there are times when we are authoritarian, and there are times when we are neglectful as the situation demands. There is no one size fits all. Yes, predominantly authoritative type or style of parenting is the most effective one, but it's a very broad spectrum. And again, maybe some children need less attention, and some children need more attention. So it also depends on the children, how the parents behave. See, we would have seen same children under, I mean, brought up under the same roof. Two children being brought up under the same roof, they will behave totally different way. Generally, in psychology, what we observe is, this is all generalization, but not a rule. There are exceptions, and there are also, differences. But generally, the firstborn children are very obedient, and they try to please the parents. They normally easily listen to their parents. But in general, the little ones or the later borns, they are kind of very rebellious, and they are very cute. It's like nothing wrong in being rebellious, but then that's how the child behaves. So based on the behavior of the child also, our parenting style varies. So we have to give the right amount of demandingness and the responsiveness to the children to be really effective. So we will just move on to a few happy parenting tips, wherein, as parents, we will also be happy, and also the children will be happy, and on the whole, it'll ensure the happiness of the family. So first of all, we all have to understand that parents matter. Parents do matter. So the role of parents and the influence of parents on the children is very, very important. And the way how we behave, generally children imitate, or they watch us and they learn a lot of things, even without actually explicitly speaking or saying. They watch and they observe, and they learn and imbibe a lot of qualities from parents and grandparents. And if it's a joint family, yes, definitely from parents, grandparents, and uncles, aunts, whoever is that in their first circle. So parents matter a lot, no doubt about it. And also, I think we should stop blaming ourselves for being a good parent or a bad parent. I mean, like, I don't think we should really judge or compare ourselves as parents with other parents. As like I would also say, neither should we compare children with other children, nor should we compare our parenting style with that of others. Being blaming and being judgmental never helps. All parenting styles has to be accepted in a minimal way, and there has to be a collaborative parenting style which will be accommodative for our children. So we should create a space or an environment wherein there is joy, fun, rules, uh, and also structure. At the same time, that flexibility wherein the children can be nurtured and groomed in an effective way. So uh, parenting styles definitely varies across the globe. Different types of parenting styles are there, and different types of families are there. There are joint families, there are nuclear families, and there are single parent families. So based on the different types of families also, the parenting style varies. And also, we should always remember one thing: we should parent for the here and now. So this moment is very, very important. This moment with the child, this moment, if we can really spend that quality time with the children, it makes a lot of difference here and now, instead of always worrying about the future, always thinking about what is he going to do when he grows up, or what will happen, or I mean, which is all very unpredictable. We have no idea about the future. I'm not talking about not having goals. We definitely should have smart goals, very specific, measurable, and achievable goals, which is time bound, and help our children to work towards a goal. But I think in that process, we should not always think about the end results. What is going to happen should not be in the top of our mind. What can be done now? So, here and now, how can we take it forward? Should be our focus. So, being here and now is very, very important for being an effective parent. And also, have unconditional love towards children. I mean, it always love should be unconditional. Conditioning, and only if you do this, I will do this, that kind of conditioning is not very effective. Have unconditional love towards the children, because they learn it from us. They see us, then when our love is unconditional towards them, it is mutual. Their love is unconditional. So they learn it from us, and always try to create happy memories instead of creating experiences. Always remember that living this moment and not waiting for an event. So live this moment. Be happy with your child here and now. Now, what can be done? So you, I mean, this moment is very important. That is where our self awareness and mindfulness plays a very vital role. So this moment spent with the children, this quality time spent with the children, has to be very productive and effective. So if we really sit and have a heart to heart conversation with children, lot of problems get resolved. And also, when you really talk to them, make sure you listen more and you talk less. So children love to talk. They want to share their experiences. Please be there for them. Always give them the space, listen to them, and allow them to make mistakes. Nothing wrong in allowing them to make mistakes. They will learn. Guide them. Always be there for them, because they learn only from mistakes. I mean, what happens sometimes when we don't have a growth mindset, we don't allow children to make mistakes at all. So if they don't make mistakes, how do they learn? It's very difficult. Okay, make sure they don't repeat mistakes. They can make new mistakes, and they can learn from it. Because only when you fail, you really relish success. You know the value of success. If there are no failures, it's very difficult. We can't prepare the world for the children. This world is like, the children have to understand, and they have to learn to deal both with failures and with success. So that's when a balance is established. So, and also, never label or judge children. Never ever do it. Don't label them. Don't say you are stupid. Don't say you cannot do it. You are always slow. Please don't be blunt, and never label or judge them. acknowledge that maybe they are slow. You can tell them, beta, you're not doing it in the right pace. Maybe we can work towards doing it in a better pace. So always use positive reinforcements. Never use negative language, or never bluntly judge the children. Always have an open mindset also. Open mindset, wherein you are flexible and ready to accept new ideas. Accepting and adapting to the changes is very, very important. So that's where, only when we have a growth mindset, we learn something. If we have a closed mindset, what happens? We think we know everything, and we don't open our mind. We don't welcome new ideas. Sometimes, we lose the fun. We don't really learn something from others if we don't have a uh, open mindset. So when we have a growth mindset, we also encourage our children to have growth mindset. And also be responsive, and also be proactive instead of being reactive. So please remember this brain model. When there is no connect between the cortex and the emotions, I mean, like, it's very, very difficult. Children being children, they might open their flaps now and then, but we as parents, I think we should stay grounded. And when the children throws tantrums, or when they are angry, if we are also going to be angry, it's not going to resolve. And also, being proactive is very important. Be Therefore, be intuitive. Try to understand the children. So that is very, very important. When you understand them, you will be understood in a very easy way. Children are very receptive, and they are like, they love to spend time with parents, and they love learning a lot from us, and they love to imitate us. So I think we have to be really understanding in that way. And that's wherein there is a lot of synergy. When there is involvement, synergy is 1 plus 1 is more than 2. So it's like, when we work as partners, when we work together, we produce more energy. We are more enthusiastic, and the outcomes, what we expect from our children, it is met. The children also understand that there are some expectations from the parents, and they also cooperate, and they are actually nice. So, with the final awareness key, I think I will finish this presentation. So, just a few things I would like to reiterate here is, uh, be present, that is, be with them. When you are present, be aware that you are spending time with them. Some, I have heard parents saying, yeah, we spend time together. So when I ask them, how do you spend time together, they say, we watch TV together. So that is not actually spending time. Being present, that is just being present with them, being there with them. But spending time together is really understanding the needs of the child, and letting them, allowing them to understand what you are expecting from them. So that kind of a quality conversation, and quality time spent, that is what we say is time spent together. Being just present with them is not really spending quality time, or really understanding the children. And also, we have to be very receptive and intuitive, rather than being very reactive. I think we have seen this before. Again, we have to be rational rather than being very emotional. So that connect has to be there. When we are emotionally intelligent, we become very rational. And also, we have to have structure, no doubt about it. We have to set rules. At the same time, we have to have rooms for flexibility in the set rules. We have to also understand if the children are not able to follow certain rules. For example, if we say, okay, after 9, no TV in the house, which is a very fair rule. So by 9, I think they have to go to bed. But what happens is, when we set rules, the children go to bed by 9, but the parents, after 9, they sit and watch TV. And the children will coolly come and ask, when you have set rules for me, why are you doing it? So that time, instead of just snapping, I think we have to explain. We have to tell them, beta, till 9, we have work. We have several things to do. As parents, we have more responsibilities than you. So you had all the day in the hand, and you were able to manage your time in a very effective way, and you had your TV time. But in the whole day, I did not have any TV time at all. So between 9 and 9:30 is what I have my TV time. So they actually love it when you explain it to them instead of snapping and telling them, no, this rule only for you or not for me. Then they won't listen. So explain it. Either you also follow the same rules. If it's 9 no TV, then better none of us watch TV. But if in case we watch TV after 9, we have to justify that to our children. They have every right to know why it's a rule only for them and not for the adults. So that way it's very easy. So there has to be structure, and also there has to be flexibility. And also listening is very very important, more than we expressing our needs, our thoughts. Please listen to the children. Also listen to what they want to say. It's very very important. And also, trust me, this being versus doing is something, a very interesting thing which I want to share. We always appreciate children for whatever they do. If they get first rank, we say very good, so you have achieved, you have become, you have got first rank, so I get you something, I reward you something. So also when they do something, when they do a household work, when they share responsibility, when they take responsibility, when they do something, we always appreciate them. But when they are very emotional, okay, when they cry, or when they really are angry, we don't really treat them as a human being. We sometimes snap and say that's not the way you behave. But instead of us losing the cool, when the children are losing the cool, I think that is where we have to also treat them as beings, as a human being. So this is very important. We have to really sit with them and talk to them why they are behaving that way. So instead of rewarding, rewarding is something, yes, it has a very good effect, and we motivate the children, we appreciate for whatever they do. My request is also uh, accept them as human beings. They also have emotions, they also have tantrums, and give them that space to express their emotions. And that kind of an understanding is also very useful and helpful in mentoring the children, guiding them how to regulate themselves. And also correction versus connection. For always don't correct them alone, also connect with them. Always don't just set rules and say you have to do this, do this, do this. If you have done this wrong, no, 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 you can't do this, you have to do this. So don't just say do. Connect with them, sit down, talk with them, understand why they are not doing certain things, and understand why they are motivated to do certain things. So that connect and rapport is very very important. And finally, this is something that's very very important in these days: codependent versus co-regulate. So codependent is, we are encouraging children to be dependent on us always. We take care of all their needs. Instead, please ask them to share responsibility, ask them, involve them in household works, co-regulate, empower them, teach them what to do. Because life has a lot of challenges, and we can't always be providing for them, and we can't be always keeping them dependent on us. They have to be independent, and they have to be empowered, and they have to face this world as individuals. So codependent with co-regulate. So please teach them how to co-regulate, and don't do everything for them. Teach them and empower their children, empower them, so that they are also happy and independent. Yeah, hope you all had a nice time. Thank you so much for being patient and listening to us and staying with us all this time. Happy parenting, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Deepa. I guess it was a wonderful session which gave us an insight about the world of parenting. As she said, we have to, there's no good parenting or bad parenting. We have to decide what kind of parenting we would like to do. And the very important point which she, of course, shared with us is about co regulating. Because I would like to come up with an example here that probably last year, I remember there was news all around that in US, when a mother fainted, a child who was in her second grade knew to pick up the phone and call 911. So that was because she was told about it, she was educated about it. Any other child would sit there and cry and not know what to do. The child would have felt helpless. So it is very important nowadays to teach the child right from the, if they are in first and second grade, we can always tell them, go fill your bottle and come. Okay, pack your bag, keep your books on the rack. So we can keep telling them these things, so it becomes a habit. So it's easy for them, and it's also good for us. So it's like that. And as she said, we have to be present with them, not only be just be present with them, but get involved. we have to be receptive, we have to listen to them. The bonding becomes mutual and it becomes strong when we are there for them, and it's a mutual connection. We can't expect them to only listen to us. We can't dominate on them, so we have to be receptive, we have to accept things. The relationship has to be really mutual. So I guess it would all depend upon what kind of parenting we would like to choose, as we have seen different styles here. So it would depend on so many conditions, like what kind of families ours, or what kind of behavior we have in our house. As she said, they look up at us and they follow us, so it's very important to have positive. We should use positive language, we should avoid negativity, because positivity helps a lot. So let us choose the right style of parenting and do justice to parenting. Wishing you all a happy parenting. Now I would like to invite our principal, Mrs. Sujata, to say a few words.
Very good evening to all the parents of class 1 and 2 and students. First of all, I would like to thank our management, Ms. Archana, our Managing Director, for giving this wonderful platform to communicate to the parent and the students. And the technical support given by Ms. Manimala. Thank you so much, Manimala, for this. The whole session you are in the back end and working. And both the Deepas, Deepa Ganesh and Deepa Sanjeev, thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. Of course, it's almost 1 hour. I thought, so I have to make my delivery very precise as a thank note. First, I would like to take this platform to appreciate the parents of class 1 and 2. It's a great, you are the great supportive force in this unprecedented situation. I would like to express my heartiest gratitude to one and all the parents here, because at times we lose our strength without students in the school. At that time, if I see the presentations and the artwork of the students, posters and dance, creativity, music, storytelling, hands-on activities, what else? It boosts me like anything. And really, I wonder always, the support of the parents, all educated parents, and each and every minute and second you are thinking about the growth of your children, and you are the supporting inch by inch and monitoring them, and be a mentor, be a guide, be a friend, be a philosopher, and giving each and every moment you are giving importance to your child. That's wherein in this situation also they are equally par with what they have done in the physical classroom. I believe they respect the teacher as they were earlier, and they will obey to the rules laid by the teacher inside the class as they were earlier. And they still, I felt very happy when they recite the golden rules inside the class. That's awesome, I believe. And of course, today's children, they have the inquisitive to learn a lot. They are so curious, and they are research temperament, right, in nature. So what is there? And the scientific research oriented mindset. So always they raise hundreds of questions, but how they are controlling themselves for that 30 minutes. Of course, at least 20 minutes, they have to be patient in the online class. Either the teacher may show her face, or the teacher may present anything in the screen and blankly watching the screen. It is very difficult, but the children are not tuned to it. It's very pathetic to say that, but we are appreciating them for being sitting aloof and watching the screen and responding that. Hats off to the students and hats off to the parent, those you have made it. Because most of the parents are very educated parents, and you are very, very particular about the child's growth, and you plan it very meticulously, and you are training them in such a way. That's so here for more than 50 minutes, both the Deepas have given lots and lots of ideas about it. What I felt is Stephen Covey's 7 life rules were yes, the situation is a win-win. How we are making the child to be proactive, the synergy. That's the very important essence it has. It can be taken as a carryover message of today. And I want to appreciate the students and the parents to make the children, find the uniqueness of the child. What is the uniqueness of my child? And you can appreciate each and every moment and each and every activity of the child, which is done with the social connect. That's very, very important. And always you create space, because you have identified the uniqueness of the child. You have identified the potentiality of the child. You have identified the creativity of the child, and give space for the child to nurture in that particular area and be a supportive person. And really, I was, at times from class 1 and 2 parents, either it may come as a concern, or it come as a suggestion, or it come as a query. And from that, I have taken up a few as a very positive note, and we started working on it. That gives a lot of success to San Academy, I believe. So here I would like to add few more notes for. I can take 1 more minute of your precious time to tell you. Yes, the main thing is that we have to improve the fine and gross motor skill of the child to improve the cognitive skill in this age of 6 and 7. So how do I do it? I am not an expert. I am not a psychologist. I am not a physicist. How do I do it? There is nothing a great mantra to do it. Just you always ensure that whether I am giving some activity to make the child to use both the hands. This is what it improves the bilateral skill of the child. So give some activity, just to know, you pour water, ask the child to squeeze with punch, or you can put some grains, mix the grains together, ask the child to pick it with the 2 hands. That improves the bilateral coordination of a child. And mindful activities, that's very, very important. How you are going to carry over the mindful activities? Simple routine. Yes, every day wake up and doing brushing. After that, only the child is allowed to speak to the parent. It's a simple routine that comes in practice every day, that is told the child to do, or the child might have seen parents as a role model to do it. So simple workout, you can teach the child simple workout with fun learning. So if they love to do it, definitely they will improve themselves to be a physically fit child. And tips and tricks, it's all in our hand, I believe, because we want the child to do something, but how you are going to give it to us? Just tips and tricks, what we do it in such a way that trigger the child to follow it. Then as I told you, the motor skill development, each and every activity, if you start monitoring that, that will create a lot of impact. So always the experts, they talk about a hand-eye coordination activity. Yeah, I believe it's very simple. So now drop your vegetable tray and ask the children to pick and toss and play with that. Either it may be onion or a ball. That's a simple activity. Or if you have a small boxes of something or a coin, make the child twist and see to it. That's the best hand and eye coordination activity. Every time, make the child to be, it improves the listening skill of the child. When the child is able to listen something, really the communication skill of the child is going to improve. Because we never teach our children the mother tongue, right? How they learned it, because they have all the essence to learn and grasp through listening. So if we allow the child to listen anything, the child can excel in anything, I believe. So dear parents, too much of anything is also not good, I believe. So I would like to conclude here with a thank note for each and everyone who take part in it. And I believe in future also, if somebody sees this link, and they may get benefited. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. Good evening to all.